Trina sold the song to the record company. I'm sorry I don't know the name. This show is so generic that I can't remember anything about it except the characters. And they heard the song and they didn't know that Toei sang that song. So guess what? Just guess what? Trina is gonna sing that song to them. I am not kidding. And this is another thing that I hate about the Birthweek thing in this episode. Trina only cares about herself in this Birthweek thing. This is why I freaking hate the Birthweek thing. It makes Trina so hateable that she wants her Birthweek so perfect that she only cares about herself than anyone else. You know, in my birthdays, I don't brag about myself at all. In fact, I respect others even on my birthday. And trust me, I really don't make birth weeks. Even if I have a birth week, I still respect with everyone. I mean, if someone made a song for me, and I let the record company let them hear it, then I'll give them a chance. And besides, I really can't sing that good. And so is Trina. And the only difference between me and Trina is that Trina can't sing that good. There was even an episode where how Trina got into Hollywood arts. And because Sikowitz, I'm not a fan of his character, no offense for anyone who loves this character, I just don't. Actually ate some kind of fruit or something that she just sees Trina as some wave thing, I don't know. And even though that she sung badly, she got into Hollywood arts because of Sikowitz. I really just can't take this show seriously. It's just so generic that I just can't talk about how good this episode is. I just can't talk about how bad this episode is. I can really understand why there's not a lot of rants or reviews on Victorious that much. Even though I really want to see more of that if Pie Guy really does that in the bottom of the bakery. Okay, so Trina sings, and it just goes downright terrible. The artists try to give her a couple of attempts, but it just doesn't work out because of Trina's terrible singing. I know I didn't show any music of this song, but I'm sorry. I just don't want copyright into my review whatsoever. I'm more protective like that. But anyway, there was also a joke where they turn off her voice in her second attempt. You know, that joke could have worked if that actually happened in her fifth or sixth attempt, because doing it on her second attempt just isn't funny. In fact, it's just way too early. That's why some of the jokes in the show just really fall flat, and they do the jokes way too early. And of course, with so many attempts that Trina terribly sings at, the record company just can't take it anymore and wants to talk with her.
Okay, what up?
Oh, you want me to sing louder?
No! That live demo you played for me, how come you can't sing like that now?
Well,
Are you the singer on the demo or not?
I'm genetically similar to that singer.
Seriously, Trina? You're just gonna say something like that? You're genetically similar to that singer? I hate both weeks. Both days are much better. Both weeks is just too much. She just wants everything for herself because her made-up birth week. Generic episode is generic, and I don't find it funny. And her saying generically, that's what this show is. The only good thing about this episode is that Trina actually called Victoria about this, and she sings, and the guys are impressed by it. People say that this didn't need to be a bad episode because of her comeuppance that she got, but the problem is at the ending of the episode. If you don't know why it's not bad, if you want to know why it's a problem, well then listen to this. These guys had a call with someone, and they want to listen to their song, which is actually Toei's song. I know that they sell it, but They didn't have anyone else to sing it. And then they just leave them in the house. They just leave them in the room. I'm not kidding. They just leave them in the room with the lights off. And that's how the episode ends. I'm not kidding. That's how the episode literally ends. Considering the fact that this is victorious, Tori should be victorious in almost every episode. And this is the 4th episode of this season. This is why I really didn't like this show. They just end episodes with just another mean spirit thing right back to it. It's like they had a good way to end it, but they just had a terrible way to end it. That song was just good, but it just doesn't save this episode. I really can't understand why people like this show. I mean, in iCarly, I can understand, but this, the humor just is similar to iCarly, and the rest is just really lowbrow. I mean, if it's because Tori is a talented singer and she's one of the actors than Zoe 101, then no. The actors are talented, but the execution is just so poor that it doesn't make the show any better. I just can't find anything good about this episode whatsoever, or this show in general. And the fact that this show never had an actual series finale ending like iCarly and Baby Drake and Josh, it's just because this show just really is so generic that it doesn't even know how to end itself. And that's all I have to say about this episode. It's bad in a generic way, and I can't even talk about more about this episode whatsoever. It's so generic in the most weakest way possible. I can understand why people hate the show, but I don't understand why they had to hate it because it's generic. I'm not saying that I'm defending the show. It's just that this is the first show that Dan Steiner is just starting to get worse and worse. In my opinion, after iCarly, he should have retired. He was a talented writer back then, but he isn't right now. The fact that Henry Danger and Game Shakers are bad, I think it's time for him to retire. I really didn't like the show that much. Almost every single episode is so generic and so boring that I think I can understand why Pie Guy doesn't want to do a bottom of the bakery thing, because not only that Victorious is generic, but the fact that he hates it so much because of the unnecessary mean-spirited humor and the most weakest plots I have ever seen. Seriously, I don't even understand why Tori wants to be there just because of the first episode. I mean, the first episode was good, but everything else is just weak. The only good things that they did was Freak the Freak Out and iPod with Victorious. I'll talk about those episodes in the future, but for right now, I want to focus on other projects. And I understand that this review wasn't as long as my other ones, but I'm sorry. I tried to look into this episode so much, and it's just too difficult to find anything good. The rest is just the subplot, which isn't entertaining to watch, and there was a few jokes where Tori got the right present for Trina, but Trina just got the exact same presents that Tori has for her, and that's basically all I have to say. The song was good, but that can't even save this episode. So anyway, I know I didn't put much effort into this review, but I tried. This is Lonely Fanboy 48 here, and I'm signing out. If we could